Hey, so I've talked about this man before. His name is Nathan Rich. He's a guy who is an American. He lives in China. Excuse me for a second. So, anyways, he lives in China. He's and works there as well. So, he did an epic takedown of Bill Marr. And the title of the video is China Virus Lies. And he basically completely and utterly trashes Bill Maher. He makes Bill Maher look like the racist, uh, race baiting, red baiting piece of shit he is. Uh, he just he systematically attacks everything that Bill Maher says on his so-called political comic news show, and he does it in such a way that basically he uses actual facts that you can actually look up and that you can actually readily find, and completely dismantles everything that this Bill Maher character tries to do. And Bill Maher is supposed to be this lefty, right, or this liberal, and yet yet he sounds like a neo-Nazi fascist, and you could find what Bill Maher did on Fox News or on Breitbart or on 4chan or 8chan or whatever the fuck it is, or you can find them on a Daily Stormer or some radical lunatic right leaning thing. And the sad part is you could also find, because it's Bill Maher, you could also find it uh, on ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC. You know, you could you could possibly see it possibly see it in the New York Times, the Washington Post, you name it. So it's utterly incredible. And by the way, that video was posted a day ago on YouTube. Um, and it really you got to check it. I really encourage you to check it out, because the way Nathan dismantles everything is is just I'm not going to even use the word epic, because it goes beyond that. It dismantles on a molecular level. That's how precise it is. He just if Bill Maher would ever decide to have a live or a recorded a live not recorded but a live debate with Nathan on this, Nathan would make this guy look like the utter demented piece of shit he is. it was. I I don't hit the like button on a lot of things. I really don't. And but I hit the like on this one, and I left a comment, and it was a short one. And oftentimes I have a tendency to ramble in my comments, but I left a short one. And it just, I'm telling you, you have to look, check it out. This just goes to the sheer level of how good it was. And and the other thing is that this also sounds like it's leading towards how they did for the Iraq War, how they so basically all these wars, and it's like, and it's scary because Obama started the pivot to Asia, and Trump is ramping up the xenophobia and the economic bullshit on China and everything else. And if you've seen my videos, you know that like China didn't take manufacturing jobs away. It was American corporations and Western international corporations that took the manufacturing jobs away. And it was because the labor was cheap, and so that they could cut costs, charge a high amount to sell back in the United States and in the West, and make an insane killing on profit. That's how simple it is. And the thing is it's not. That's not the only place they went. They went to India. They went to Indochina, which is Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia. They went to Mexico. They went to South America. They went to Africa. They went everywhere. They did this everywhere. So this constant rhetoric, like that China is the only one who is doing it. But the thing is the Chinese took advantage. Chinese government took advantage of it, and they said, "Well, if you're going to do that, we're going to allow you to do it," which I don't agree with. The Chinese government shouldn't have allowed them to treat the workers for basically as slave labor, almost slave labor. But that's also happening in India. I mean, we got call centers in India. Where's the outrage over that? Why is China the only one? Because because the Chinese, for the privilege of exploiting Chinese workers, and the privilege to make an absolute killing financially, and so on and so forth. The Chinese stipulated what the costs were, and the U.S. and other corporations readily agreed to it. Why? Because they weren't in for the money. And basically, China, you can look at China as being, what's his name, from that movie where he says, "Show me the money." That's basically what China did. And money was basically give us some insider things that we can take as compensation. and also you have to follow certain guidelines, certain regulations, and they were abysmally small on regulation and restrictions. But that's it. And and China is basically smarter about it, uh, making it work for them, and so on and so forth. And so, you know, the U.S. has done that, and the U.S. and the West were the first ones to use everything that's China is being accused of. Everything that China is accused of doing, the U.S. and the West have done that, and that is a truth on the ground, and it is irrefutable. And those who are economists, those who are the pundits, and all those uh, who say differently are liars, because you can find it. You can find it by looking into the Treasury Department. You can find it you can find it with the IRS. You can find it in Congress. You can find it. You can find the hard facts, the hard truths, all there. Um, Actual journalists have reported on it by actually putting out the information. They're not just telling you. They're not just spouting it. They're saying, "Well, we have this. We have this. We have this. We got this from through FOIA. We got this through, which is which is the Freedom of Information Act. We got this through this. You can find it in the corporations that made the decisions. You can find it when Jamie Dimon and others have talked about it, and and there is video record of them talking about the decisions to do this. There was a guy who was a banker, and he did a whole book about how he was an economic hitman terrorist working for J.P. Morgan Chase and all those others. Uh, Michael Hudson, you can who was in a similar position, who's now a professor. He was in there. He talks about it, and he even wrote a book about it. And he isn't just throwing out things, because he's actually backing it up with things that he says with ink on paper. Uh, all sorts of other things. So, anyways, I went far afield, but basically, I think you get the point. So do me a favor, check out Nathan Rich. And by the way, this guy's got a huge following. He's over a million. He's over a million subscribers right now. And is Nathan's a very very good source for how to see things clearly in a way that you can see that he is he is he is factually on spot, and he is neutral in how he uses those facts. So this neutrality thing that the Western media news likes to do, he actually does. So check him out, and I suggest you subscribe to him as well because I've been subscribed to him for a while. He's one of the few that I'm consistently in in I consistently like and don't find too many discrepancies to the conclusions from my own personal look into all this comes down to. And I David Dorr, I like him. I subscribe to him, but I'll hit back at David. Kyle Klinsky, same way. Jimmy Dore, I've done it to Jimmy Dore, and I love Jimmy. I absolutely love Jimmy. Vic Di Bit Bito or Bit DeBitio or so, this new guy that I've been watching. The ones I did a couple of videos on. I've watched several of his videos, and I love Vic. But I've called out stuff on Vic. Nathan, I rarely, if ever, I actually think that I don't. I actually think I didn't. I haven't actually. I think like once or twice at most. Every other channel I've either subscribed to or I've watched. I I've put in dozens, dozens of comments against things said there, and or perceptions or things that I just find to be objectionable. And like Vic, he did a video about stimulus checks and so on and so forth, and how he hates it. And he was talking about how give it to Amazon. Amazon can get shit out. I'm like, and he said it so often. I was like, okay, Vic, I I agree with you on everything except for the Amazon part. Amazon i- Amazon is an evil entity. Is an not an entity, enterprise, and and Bezos is an uber piece of shit. And my feeling is that that fucker should be uh, brought down, and that he should be made poorer than dirt, and then he should be tossed into a jail cell, and the keys thrown away, and all those other assholes who allowed him to get where he is. Bloomberg, I find him also the same thing. I'm just. Anyways, that's it. Thanks.